Olivia, I hoped Nick would come home early today. He hadn't been around much since he started working with my best friend, Sandra. Things had been hectic at the office, but I still hoped today would be different, seeing how it was our 4th-year anniversary. I also had big news. I was finally pregnant, and we were about to have the family we'd always dreamed of. I couldn't wait to see his reaction when I told him, and I didn't even want to think about my mother-in-law. She'd be thrilled. I'd call and tell her after telling Nick. I was sure they'd cut their trip short once they heard the news of my pregnancy. I hummed as I moved around the kitchen, cooking. I was happy despite knowing things hadn't been the same between Nick and me lately. I hoped that after hearing the news of my pregnancy, he would become the man I fell in love with again. Just as I placed the last dish on the dining table, the front door opened. My heart leaped with excitement, and I rushed to greet him. Nick was taking off his jacket when I reached him, but he didn't look pleased to see me. I smiled and greeted him anyway. "Good evening, my love," I said, then went to hug him as Sandra walked in, wearing a smile. Why was she there? I'd told her it was my anniversary and that I wanted to spend the evening alone with Nick. "Sandra, you're here?" I forced a smile. She hugged me. "Yes, friend. Nick and I still have a few work things to sort out, but I suggested we finish here." "Fine." I would talk to Nick after dinner once Sandra was gone. The food's already on the table. "I'll just grab the juice," I said. A short while later, we were seated at the dining room table. I decided to make some small talk. "Nick, how was your day? I hope things are calming down now at the office." He glanced at me. "You chose to stay home and take care of the house. Why do you care about work now? It doesn't concern you anymore." His words stung. He was my husband, and I thought I had the right to ask how his day was. "I got you a gift," I said, standing to go and get it. "I don't need anything," he said with derision. "And why are you acting so desperate today?" My heart sank. Had he forgotten our anniversary? Since when did he forget that, and since when did he talk to me like this? What had happened to my husband? He was becoming colder and more distant every day. I sat back down, feeling crushed. "Come on, Nick. Olivia just misses you." "She didn't mean to annoy you," Sandra chimed in. What made her think I was annoying him? Was it because she was closer to him now than I was? Because they worked together constantly, forming a bond? That bond shouldn't interfere with my marriage. Nick should still love me and treat me well. But that wasn't the case anymore. I watched them talk as if I wasn't there. Nick smiled more at her, a gentleness in his demeanor that I hadn't seen in a long time. My heart ached. That affection and gentleness was supposed to be for me. At the end of dinner, I said, "I'll clear the table." "Are you both done?" Nick didn't even look at me. He just pushed his plate toward me while remaining focused on Sandra. My hand went to my stomach, caressing it. "Oh, baby, your dad's not ready to hear about you yet. But I'll tell him. I promise, and he'll be so happy you're finally here." Before I left the room, Sandra said, "Oh, did you want me to help you clear the table?" I didn't answer, just picked up the plates and went to the kitchen. Once I placed them in the sink, I gripped the edge, taking deep breaths, trying to calm myself and hold back my tears. Sandra followed me. "How does it feel, huh?" she asked, her tone smug. I turned to face her, confused. "What are you talking about?" She smirked, stepping closer to me. "Knowing that your husband doesn't care about you anymore. Knowing that you're losing him, to me." Her words sent a wave of anger through me. "Sandra, Olivia. What are you doing?" she screamed, throwing herself onto the ground. I stood there frozen, staring at her. What was I doing? What was she doing? That was the question. Nick came rushing in, immediately going to her side as she started crying. He glared at me. "What the hell did you do?" I didn't do anything," I stammered, completely perplexed. What was happening? This was obviously some kind of act on Sandra's part. "Nick, oh, Nick, there's blood. I'm losing my baby." Sandra sobbed. I gasped. "Baby? What baby?" Nick picked her up and rushed out with her in his arms. I followed them, but he turned to me, his face filled with enough hatred that I stopped in my tracks. "Isn't what you've done to me enough? Now you go after her too? You better pray she doesn't lose her baby, or I'll make you pay for everything you've done."